So I went for a flat viewing in Birmingham recently, and I had a pretty fairly wacky night, to be honest. First off, I go to the view of the property, and everything seems alright, like, so far. I mean, it's a bit of a small room, and, like, you can't smoke in the building. But I want to live somewhere, you know, less quiet, man. I live up in the countryside in Hereford, so I want to get down, you know, somewhere in the city, like, you know, proper action and shit.
Sorry, I just feel like I'm missing out sometimes. I want to do what you do. Proper action and shit.
So everything's fine so far, except then I get told by Norman, the support worker there, that I can't have anyone stop round. And, like, obviously that's going to have a massive effect on my social life if I can't even have my friends come round or anything. And then it turns out on top of that, that during the day you can have visitors, like, there but not after 11, and you have to ring the landlord up and tell him, like, the age, sex and name of every visitor you want to get in just to have permission. Like, that's a privacy breach in my opinion. I've left the place and I'm thinking, you know, this ain't the place for me. Like, I don't want to fucking have to live around this with all these random rules and not have to have people in. But then my mum gets another phone off the landlord, like, a few days later, and basically he says to her, look, I didn't know anything about those rules. Like, I didn't say anything that you couldn't have anyone stay over, and I've fired Norman. I've got a new support worker there that's, like, much better now, like, called Jackie. And a bigger room has also become available. Tell your son to come down again, have a look at the place, because I think he'll like it, and also there's free broadband. So I'm like, alright, fine, fuck it, I'll give it another chance. I'll head back down there. But, like, I got really excited, to be honest, because I was thinking really positive. I was like, you know what, screw it, I can have a mate stay now. Looks like the landlord was just misrepresented by this, like, support worker called Norman. You know, I'll give it another chance. I'll probably sign the flat. The thing is that I'd actually been up all night before because I was excited about the place. So when I got there, I was really exhausted because I had to take, like, a bunch of trains. And the whole time I was just thinking in my head, fuck it, I'm going to sign this tenancy, get the key, and I'll just sleep in my new room. I didn't fall asleep between recordings. What the fuck are you on about? That's just a changing contrast on the video, that's all. So I get to the new place, it was pouring it down with rain. I'm soaked to the bone. Go upstairs, look at my new room. It looks great, but there's this new support worker called Jackie, and she turns around and says to me, as she passes me, like, the fucking tenancy agreement and all the stuff to sign, says, look, if there's any things you need to know, any rules you need to ask about, just ask and I'll tell you. And I went, well, there was one thing. Originally I was told I couldn't have my friend stop over, but the landlord has cleared that up now. And she was like, no, you can't have people round. It was like, I will not let people into this building, strangers. This building's for the vulnerable people. You know, fucking heroin addict downstairs. Cheeky bitch, man. I mean, fucking hell. You know what she said to me as well? She was like, how do you know your mates aren't nutcases? I was like, I've known my mates since I was 10, they don't cause any trouble. She was like, you don't know that. But that's the thing I hate about support workers, is you get some support workers that, like, talk to you like you're a child and condescend you like fuck. I don't give a fuck, even if I'm on benefits. I shouldn't be if I'm speaking to you like a fucking adult, you should speak back to me like an adult, treat me with the same respect that I give you, not just fucking assume that I don't know anything and assume that all my mates are nutcases. I mean, I'm the fucking nutcase. I'm the one who talks to myself on YouTube. Not my mates. This building's for the vulnerable people and I'm in control of that. But I was like, well, the landlord said. And she was like, well, no, it doesn't matter if the landlord said. My rule goes here. I'm thinking, this is dodgy, man. The rules have changed again. She passed me this tenancy agreement to sign, and on it, the rent was supposed to be £30 a week. On the tenancy agreement, it said £60. Like, I'm not a fucking idiot. I'm not going to put my signature down on a piece of paper that says, like, I agree to pay £60 a week when I've been told it's £30 a week. So I delayed that for a night, luckily, and decided to stop over for one night to see what would happen. So in the building, there's, like, 2 other people living there. There's this old, like, 60-year-old dude called Martin who just keeps to himself. And then there's, like, this, I think he was about 30 or something, this 30-year-old guy called Jamie. And, like, Jamie was way too loopy. I went downstairs with Jackie, the support worker, and she was about to head off, and she just, like, gave me the key, even though I hadn't signed anything. She was like, okay, you stop here for the night. And, right in front of her, this Jamie was fucking rolling a spliff up, like full on ganja on the table and everything, just like not even giving a fuck. And the support worker started screaming at him, like not over the fact he was rolling a spliff, but because he had a can of beer on the side. It turns out it was alright to smoke weed there, you just had to smoke it in the back garden, and you weren't allowed to drink in the building. It's like a small house with like 4 rooms in, so it's basically a big shared house. You have to share your living room and your kitchen and stuff. Yeah, you're not allowed to drink in the building at all. And so she just fucking switched from being really friendly to over the top aggressive, like, get that, well, she didn't swear, but she was like, get that beer out of here now! Get it in the fridge, I've told you! I was just like, alright, fucking steady on. I'd have understood if it was on about the weed, because that's fucking illegal, like, but it was only a can of beer.